Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about economics and crypto and lots of other fun things. Before we dive on into the content here, do me a favor, smash up that like button, leave a comment in the comment section for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button as well. But okay, what do I want to talk about in this video? I want to talk about how everything is going according to plan. Now, let me back up 1 second and say the worst thing that you can do is make a plan that the market is going to go a certain way and then stick to that plan. You have to be adaptable because the market is always going to keep you on your toes. So when I say that everything is going according to plan, it's actually really interesting because I'm talking about the plan that most four-year halving cycle theorists have in place. And so what is that? Bitcoin hit a new all-time high, and there were certain signs that I was looking for, signs that if this is going to be a four-year halving cycle, which I still don't believe it's going to be, that it's going to go exactly how it's always gone, that these things, these next things would need to happen after a new all-time high for Bitcoin, and those things are happening, and so that's very exciting. So what are those things? Before I answer that question, what are the things, I want to revisit my exit strategy. If you remember, if you follow me on TikTok, especially, one of the pinned videos in my TikTok profile focuses on an exit strategy. An exit strategy, that is aimed at exiting about 2 to 4 months after the first rate cuts. And why did I say 2 to 4 months after the first rate cuts? A couple things. First of all, in 2007, leading up to 2007, there was a massive hiking cycle getting up to about the same level in interest rates that we were at recently, between 5 and 6% federal funds rate. And then the market went up. As rates were going, the market went up. As rates were flat, the market went up. And then the first rate cut in September, I believe, of 2007. After that, we saw about a 2-month rally in the stock market, and then it peaked, and then it went into the great financial crisis. So my expectation was that it was going to be something similar this time around, where after the first rate cut, we would see about a 2-month move in the stock market that would lead us to November 18th, and then that would be the peak. And a lot of people wouldn't expect that, and cryptos would peak around that time as well. And then we would make our way down to bear market bottom levels in the stock market over the next year as interest rates continue to unwind, and potentially leading into a crash similar to 2008. Maybe not as bad as 2008. Now, I said 2 to 4 months. Why did I say 2 to 4 months? Because my initial thought in that video was that if Donald Trump won the election, that we would have a prolonged period of time to where things could get really exciting. And so now let me back up for a second. I'm realizing now, even if Kamala won, that 2 months was not a long enough time. And it may actually be, now that Donald Trump has won, that 4 months is not a long enough time. Perhaps it's something like 4 to 6 months. But for the meantime, for the time being, until I see something that indicates otherwise, I am operating off of a 4-month window, and I'm going to follow the market, but about a 4-month window from that first rate cut on September 18th to January 18th. That's January 18th, 2025. That's a Saturday. I do not expect Bitcoin or altcoins to peak on a Saturday with CME futures markets with Bitcoin. So somewhere around or, on, before, after January 18th, the inauguration's January 20th, but I am flexible with that end date. The biggest thing that I would communicate, and I mentioned this in my live stream earlier today, is sell in May and go away is a very real thing this year. If we are in peak euphoria, if that even extends to May, I'm telling you guys, you must, not financial advice, you're going to want to sell in May and go away. But really, honestly, I think it's more like, if this extends a little bit, sell in March and go away kind of thing. My personal opinion, there may be a dip in the summer of 2025 to buy the summer lull for sure, and buy for a dead cat bounce or a retrace or something like that. But I am very much of the opinion that the end of 2025 is going to be pretty rough. We'll see how it goes. We're going to follow the market. Okay. So you have, on the other hand, for your halving cycle theorists who believe that we're going to peak in November of 2025, December 2025, something like that. Please. Yes, please. I mean, we're seeing Bitcoin at $77,000. If we're nowhere near the peak, Can we go well over $100,000? Can we go to $200,000? Can we go even higher than that? I would be ecstatic. Please let me be wrong. And so here's some encouragement to those of you who believe that. Well, a little bit of encouragement. Here's what I'm monitoring. All right, we crossed a new all-time high with Bitcoin. And so the next thing that I wanted to see was how Ethereum would respond to that. And now we've seen Ethereum spike up to almost $3,000 as of the moment that I'm making this video. This is a very good sign. It broke through a descending wedge. I think it was actually an ascending wedge, which usually breaks down, but it broke through to the upside of an ascending wedge. It is right now fighting through its 200-day simple moving average, but things look very good for Ethereum. And say what you want about Ethereum, I'm getting more and more disillusioned with Ethereum as we see other layer ones start to eat up their share of the market. But right now, Ethereum must be the next thing that goes up. But we've also seen some significant movements in Solana, and would you look at Cardano, even Cardano. And if that sounds a little pandering and whatever you want to say, yes, I am absolutely. If you're a Cardano holder, I'm talking, I'm pandering to you, I guess you could say. So, all right, these are the three top layer ones. Aside from Bitcoin, you can count Bitcoin as a layer one, but these are the three top layer ones in terms of market cap. Solana, Cardano, and Ethereum. The fact that we're starting to see these start to wake up, this is exactly what you would want to look for after a new all-time high for Bitcoin. And so what comes next is I would expect a flow of money down to, smaller cap layer ones, smaller cap cryptos. We're working our way down through the top 50 altcoins, and maybe not so much with the highly inflationary ones like Filecoin and HBAR, and maybe not with Polkadot, since that one's it's just continues to lose market cap dominance. But even those, they will make moves. And so the flow seems to be working out very much in our favor right now. And so this is something that we really need to keep monitoring. I want and expect a new all-time high for Ethereum. Ethereum's all-time high is $4,900. It seems abundantly clear that we're going to see a new all-time high for Solana, and we are well on our way. Now, Solana is hanging around the 786 retrace. Next step after breaking through that, new all-time high potentially, and hopefully leading into price discovery, which Solana-based meme coins, like, a certain one that happened to be created by the guy who's making this video, should do very well. He, if you didn't know, should do very well, but I can't legally give any price targets or price predictions for that. All that to say, okay, let's see what happens. 4-year halving cycle, not a believer, but there's potential right now. I'm bullish. And honestly, I don't really see a compelling argument to be bearish right at this moment. Now, I'm going to go from bullish to cautiously bullish to bearish, and that might happen sooner than a lot of you would prefer. But even then, I would expect meme coins to run based on the belief that even after the peak, that we would go higher from there. So one other thing I want to point out in the remaining minute and a half or so of this video is just thinking through, all right, if this is a mirror of 2021, Bitcoin peaked on December 17th of 2020. Sorry, it didn't peak. It broke its previous all-time high from 2017 on December 17th of 2021. Here we are. It was November 5th that Bitcoin broke its all-time high. So we are about 40 days, a little bit more than 40 days ahead of schedule. So again, if this mirrors 2021, I would say the peak of euphoria in 2021 was May 9th, the day that Elon Musk went on SNL. So if this mirrors 2021, that would bring us to a peak of euphoria right at the end of Q1, at the end of March in 2025. That would give us a peak of Bitcoin early March or late February 2025. So perhaps that's the case. Whatever happens next, the next things that I want to see are breakthroughs in Total 2 and Total 3, and that the biggest thing that we really need to see is Bitcoin's dominance, a peak in Bitcoin's dominance, and Bitcoin's dominance start to take the elevator down. That's for another day. Anyway, that's all I have for today. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your week. I will most certainly be seeing you in another video.